Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litza and this is Coco, and today we're going to talk to you about corner to corner crochet. We've got a few of our little projects to show you and just a little bit of the knowledge that we've collected over the last couple of years. Now, as you can see, Coco is looking down at the table instead of saying woof woof to all of you because she wants her cucumber. She has had her afternoon tea of chicken, but she's going to get a little treat now. So I will just give her her little piece of cucumber, pop her on the floor, and we can continue to have a chat. Okay, woof woof from Coco. There you go. Oh, she's so happy to get that. It's actually very warm here, so that will cool her down a little bit more. So thank you for joining us today. I just thought I'd share our corner to corner projects with you that we've collected over the I should say been crocheting over the last couple of years. It is one of my favorite projects and I really enjoy doing the corner to corner stitch. Up until recently though, I thought that the only stitch available to us which is the one that I call the granny stitch. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but it's just this one, which is the very traditional looking one that almost looks like granny's clusters. But I am happy to inform you that I have done a little bit of research that I want to share with you. And if any of you have any other corner to corner type stitches or tutorials or patterns that you'd like to share with all of us, please leave it down in the comments, because I am more than happy to find out about what else is available to us, because it's very exciting to learn something new. So I will put my glasses on because I just want to make sure that I read out properly, you know, what I have been finding out for all of us. So as I said, for me the most common stitch for corner to corner is the one that I've used throughout all my projects, and I'll share them with you shortly. And up until recently I just thought that was what the corner to corner stitch was. Now a lot of you have been creating corner to corner blankets lately, and I just thought it was a good opportunity for me to be able to show you mine as well. Any of you that haven't created any corner to corner projects, I know that there's a myriad of tutorials out there, but Terry from Yarn Joy podcast, she has a very good one, because I know quite a few podcasters have referred to hers recently, including Julie from KS Mum Crochet and Rebecca from Yarn and Pajamas, because they actually learnt how to do the corner to corner thanks to her tutorial. So that might be one that you would like to look at if you haven't, you know, already experienced corner to corner crochet. Now I've also learned that there is you can create a blanket corner to corner using the moss stitch. And there is a very good tutorial by Crystal from Bag O Day if you want to see that, unless you source another one of course, but that's the one that I came across. And then there's also the mesh stitch, which I didn't even know existed for corner to corner. And there is a tutorial that I came across by Daisy Farm Crafts. Now I will be linking, putting all of these, you know, whoever I refer to into the description box for you. Now I have to say that just by looking at the tutorials very quickly and the photos, you know, of the thumbnail, the mesh stitch and the moss stitch seem to create a very dense fabric. So I'm guessing that they would be great for things like face washes. I'm assuming that, or maybe a very nice thicker blanket, depending on the yarn weight, of course, that you use for the winter, for the colder climates, because some areas in the world obviously experience much colder weather. So maybe that would be a good option for the people living in those areas. So they're two that I came across, which I haven't tried as yet. And then of course you can use the half double crochet. Now these are all in US terminology, because the granny stitch, I call it that, the one that I've been using is the double crochet. And then this one is intriguing to me. I came across what is known as the Filet hybrid technique. And you're actually creating squares that look like a filet type stitches that we use to create other amazing products. But I just can't fathom how that would work until I see the tutorial, how, you know, you incorporate it and make it into a corner to corner projects. So that's something I really want to delve into and have a good look at. And the person that I saw that has a YouTube video, and it's the only one I've come across, there may be others of course, but the one that I saw was by Catherine Clark Crochet. And I am going to be looking at that because, like I said, it's intriguing to me. And then of course there are Graphgans. So basically, Graphgan, for those of you that aren't familiar, and I do have a little example for you later, is that each block represents a square of color, and you follow a graph and you add the colors and you create a beautiful picture, such as a flower or a bear or something that's even more complex, depending on what you want to create. So Graphgans are another way of creating a corner-to-corner project. Now, corner-to-corner projects are generally in a square shape or in a rectangle and even a triangle. So how can we use, other than just a blanket, the different shapes? So I've thought, and I have seen people make it in my Coco's Crochet Corner little group on a Wednesday night. One of our friends got to the triangle size and she decided that she was going to make it into a shawl. So that worked out very well. So that's something to keep in mind. The square for me is the easiest one because generally you start decreasing. So you're increasing all the way and then you create that triangle shape because you're starting at this end and creating it that way. Now when you get to this where you want to start creating your square, that's when you start decreasing until you, so basically when your triangle has reached your desired like width and length for the square, then you start decreasing. Now with a rectangle though, it would be just as simple to create. I haven't made one as yet, but I would like to make one in the near future. So basically when you start increasing, when you get to your desired width, you start decreasing, and then the other side is still increasing until you get to your desired length, and then you start decreasing there and you meet up again, and then you finished your project. So again, if you haven't already done a corner-to-corner project, you might be a little bit like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? But when you watch a tutorial, it's something that comes very easily and very quickly, I think, to most people. And I'm only saying that by the lovely ladies that I, get the pleasure to hang out with on a Wednesday night. And I've shown each and every one of them how to make one, and they had never made one before. And now it is, again, one of their favorite projects as well. So hopefully it'll become one of yours as well, because there are so many ways that you can incorporate it into your everyday makes for the people that you love. That's how I feel anyway. So we've talked about the different shapes that we can create, which is wonderful. And then we come to, and I have to put my glasses on this because I want to make sure I give you the right information. I have only just found out recently, as I think even 2-3 days ago, about the corner-to-corner crochet in the round. The tutorial that I saw, and also has been recommended to me, to all of us, is by Heart Hook Home, and the lady's name is Ashley. You'll find her on YouTube. Now, I found out about corner-to-corner crochet in the round. I was watching K&K Crochet, who is, K&K is the mum and Kristen is the daughter, and they make up K&K Crochet, and they are so cute to watch. They are not only gorgeous, but they are also, like, they have great content. They make amazing things and they have a lot of information. So if you haven't actually already come across them, just go and say hello and check out their videos. You might be very pleasantly surprised. I certainly was. And, now we're fast becoming, yarny friends, which is wonderful. So after seeing her blanket, and I thought, oh, wow, this is something that I have never tried before. Maybe it is something that's very new, this technique, I'm not sure. I am definitely going to be making something this winter. And KK made it using her Ogos. So of course I thought immediately of my Ogos. So later on I'll show you the project that I think I might be making, what I'll be using for it. So they're the different types of corner to corner stitches that you can use to create your various projects. your general shapes that you'll make would be the triangle, square, or the rectangle. Now, of course, it's probably got other uses as well. Like I said, we only learned about the filet crochet. Myself personally, actually today when I was doing a little bit of research for yourself and myself. So there you go. It's never too late to learn something new. So now that we know about the different types of crochet and the different stitches that we can use, I might just show you what I've created over the time. Some I've gifted already and have a few photos to show you. Most of them are here on hand, which is wonderful. But I'll try to give you as much of information as I can on each one that I've created, so you have a good idea of, you know, how it begins from, you know, ball to project. So my very first one that I'll show you, I just call it some people are calling it my coffee blanket. I just call it the brown blanket. They're the different colors that are on it. There it is. It's humongous. Let me bring it up close for you so you can have a little look. So here it is here. Oh, can you see it? Yes, you can. So let me put my glasses on so I can tell you what yarn I used and what size it is and what have you. So basically for this one, I used this yarn. And as you can see, it is a very chunky yarn. And I'll give you the stats on it while you look at it. Oh, it's a little bit glary, but you can still see it. Now, basically, this is a microfiber yarn, and it is a chunky yarn. I don't understand the label that says 3-ply, but I don't think that that's correct, personally. It is 100% polyester, and the balls were 100-gram balls. And it says to either machine or hand wash, but I certainly hand wash only and lay flat to dry. Now, it has no hook size on the ball band, but that's okay because I ended up using a 7mm hook. It's just trial and error depending on how tight you crochet, your tension. Now, although I purchased these at what we call here in Sydney, Australia, the $2 shop, they were $3.50 a ball, and I ended up buying 8 in the light brown. So that's this color here that I just showed you, which I think is a beautiful color. And I ended up buying 6 in the brown mix, which is that color that you saw here with all the different browns in it, which is so gorgeous. I absolutely love it. And then I could only find 1 in the dark brown. And this is all that I had at the end when I finished with it. So that's yarn chicken at its best, right guys? So I got very lucky with that one. Otherwise I would have had to frog it and use, I guess, some of this one. I would have worked it out. It's all good. But I ended up using, what's that, 8, 6, 7, so 15 balls. So that's quite a bit of yarn there, but I made it work, and it's a beautiful soft blanket. It is very chunky, very warm. It doesn't take long for you to sit under it to keep you warm. And it is a great size. I'm sorry, I didn't actually measure it, but when you put the square is, so my arm span, I'm 165 centimeters, 5'5", so it's just a little bit bigger than that, but a square. So this is one of the blankets that we all love to snuggle under in my family. So that's one of the corner-to-corner blankets that I've created for all of us, and now for me to share with you. So let me put this one to the side. Now, the next blanket that I'll show you is the one that's hanging here. And again, made using the exact same technique. And I've got the yarn here so I can show it to you a little bit closer. I don't have this one here, which is the grays, but I do have it in the black and white. And there it is there. It's nowhere near as chunky as the other yarn that I just showed you. And this one is actually a velvet yarn. So I'll give you the little stats on this one. So basically with this one, it's 100% polyester, 100-gram balls, and 105 meters in each ball. And he recommended using a 5mm hook, but I used a 6mm hook. So basically I used 7 of the black. So here we are, 7 of the black, 7 of the grey mix here, which is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love that. And I ended up using almost 3 of the white. As you can see, there was a little bit left of the black and white, so almost 3, because I used that for the border. I wanted to make sure that I tied it all in together. And the border, the way that I did it was basically in between, and I'll show you on this little sample so it's easier to see. So in between each little cluster, let's call them clusters, I did a single crochet and then 2 chain across, single crochet, 2 chain across, and did that all the way around first so that I could create sort of like a base for it, you know, a foundation base for the rows to be added on. And then in that 2 chain little space, I put in 3 double crochets, and then I went across with no chain in between all the way around. And in the corners, I put 2 double crochet, 2 chain and 2 double crochet to make sure that the corner was nice and rounded so it didn't, you know, get all nice, you know, tight. And again with this one, cool wash, cool hand wash, and dry flat to dry. So that's another project that I made just for, you know, for my son, or, you know, with his fiance, just to throw on them when they're watching TV, or whoever else would like to use it in the family. So that's one that has been very loved and used as well. And I'm so happy that it's come up so soft and beautiful. Very soft yarn, this one, definitely. So that's the brown one and the black and white blanket. That's what I call them anyway. And now this is one of the most loved blankets in our home. Let me show it to you. It's humongous. Here it is here. Whew, let me bring it up as close as I can. Again, the same stitch, nothing unique about this one as far as the stitch goes. The color is like a buff color. I'm pretty sure it comes up pretty good on camera. This blanket is huge. I haven't measured it, but it is a square that sits on my son's queen size bed. So just at the bottom end where his little feet are, there's a little bit of a gap because I didn't make it into a triangle. I made it into a square. Didn't even think about a triangle at the time. So let me give you a few little stats on this one. First of all, it was made with mill ends. So I was very lucky that at the time when I purchased this yarn, which was a year and a half ago, at least, the mill end bags were still available at $10 full price or $5 a bag. So I ended up paying $5 a bag, and I used 7 bags at 400 grams per bag. Now that is an amazing price to pay for such a beautiful, beautiful blanket. It's like that velvet yarn. It is the softest yarn. It is so warm and squishy. I used a 7mm hook to crochet it up. I need cool hand wash it and lay it flat to dry, and this yarn dries very, very quickly. The microfiber not so quickly, a little bit longer, and this one as well, but this one certainly dries up very, very quickly. Now I want to share this with you because this is what makes my heart be full of joy, and this is why we do this, right? This is the reason why we crochet, most of us. My son actually lays this blanket so on top of his bottom sheet in his bed, and when he goes to bed every night, he lies on top of it and he says it's like it's a hug from you, Mum. Now, what more would a mother want to hear than that? So making this blanket was joyous at the time and such an absolute delight, knowing that every night when my son sleeps with his blanket, he feels that. So I really wanted to share that with you, and I'm sure a lot of you hear that from your family and friends, but I just wanted to let you know that my son feels the same. So that's that gorgeous blanket. So I'm just going to pop it down here so that I can bring up the next one for you. Now, my daughter didn't miss out, so don't think that I forgot her, but her blanket is in here. So this is what her corner to corner look like. Again, very basic. I'm not sure if you can really see from the photo, but this is the yarn that I use for hers, and I'm just going to pop my glasses on. So this is a beautiful yarn, actually. It's here it is here. It's the 4 Seasons half and half. And it's 50% acrylic and 50% wool. So this is a very warm blanket. Again, this blanket is the same size as my son's, so pretty much fits on a queen size bed, but it is a square again, not a rectangle. I used a 6mm hook with this yarn. I think it's a 12 ply. Does it say it on here? No, but again, he recommends using a 5mm hook, but I definitely used a 6. And again, cool hand wash and dry flat, lie flat to dry. So they're the two big blankets that I've made. Now over the time I've made numerous, you know, well, let's call them baby blankets, because they were quite small. I don't actually have them with me, but I will show you the little photos of the ones that I've got. So a couple of them aren't here. Like there's a beautiful purple one that I had made for my friend's little boy who loves purple. The kid's got taste, that's all I can say. So hey Thanos, I know he's looking or watching with his mum. So hey Marina, hey Thanos. So he got that one recently and he just loves snuggling up with it. I don't have it here or a photo, but I do have a photo of this one, which I made for another gorgeous little baby girl. And this one I made for my Aunt Poppy. I don't know if you can see that, but they're little poppy flowers. I crocheted tiny ones and she loves the colors that I chose. Well, I put the colors in because I know she loves the yellow and the blue. So that one I made for her and they've all gone to beautiful homes. Now, I do have a couple here to show you that I borrowed from my friend after, you know, she's had them for over a year now, I'd say a year and a half. And let me tell you, these are very loved, these blankets, and you will be able to tell when you see them up close and personal. So here's this one. So this one again was made with mill-ends and a little bit of so the pink was a mill-end bag and the dark grey and the light grey are some of my Spot Saver yarn, which is one of my favourite yarns to work for. And this is for the beautiful Kitty. She was only about 1.5 years old at the time. And this blanket has been, there's some colour there too that I didn't show you. There you go. That was a mill-end as well, that colour and the pink. So she's loved watching TV with it. Her mum tells me she always puts it on her little lap while she's watching TV and drags it around the house with her. So that's one that I was clueless as to how to make a border, and I tried, and it looks like I attempted by putting a single crochet, but it did work. And that's all that matters. So again, much loved, and I made it with much love, believe me. Now, this is a project that I'm so proud of, but I made it without even thinking. Now, where is it, my notes? I can tell you this, I have to read it because when I was thinking about it, and I'll show it to you. This is a Grafgan. So we're getting to the Grafgan. So I desperately wanted to make a Grafgan and I had so little experience. So we're going back to a good 1.5 years ago when I had just made, you know, the first lot of smaller projects of corner to corner. So I decided that I thought I was ready to make one. So I had no idea how to read a chart. But after watching a couple of YouTube videos, I thought I'd give it a go. Like all of us, what have we got to lose? All it is yarn. We would have just had to frog it and then start all over again. And I also knew nothing about hiding the yarn in the back as you crochet. So I will show you all of that. But it's not horrible. That's all I'm going to say. And the recipient, who at the time was baby John, and he was about 3-4 years old, absolutely loved it, and he still does. And the reason why I chose this Grafgan is because baby John was, and I'm guessing still is, in love with the planets and rockets. So I made him this one. I'm going to show it to you up close. And let me just stand up. Here it is here. It's almost like the rocket ship took away. There was a blast off. I should have done a countdown. So let me show it to you up close. I think that's pretty good for someone who had never ever attempted a Grafgan before, but this is the part where you know that this was our first project. So at the back, you can see, here it is here, where I just carried the colour across. By no means an expert, but in saying that, let me hang it up there for you. By no means an expert, as I said, but in saying that, I had so much fun making that. I'll show you a photo of what it looked like on my bed when I had all the, balls hanging off it, and I was working on it. And I actually did have a chart. The one that I've got, this is just a copy. It's not the original because it was written all over. So the way that I did it, I went into each and every little square, and as I crochet, I would cross it off. So that was a very good guide. Obviously, I'm guessing that's how you're meant to do it. But I did create it, and I sent it off with love, and I have to tell you that it has been used many a time. Again, this is John and Kitty are brother and sister, and their mum reassures me that it is still very much loved and used all the time. So that was my experience with the Grafgan. Now, I love corner to corner so much that I have to tell you, I've always got a corner to corner project on the go. And some of you that may have watched my whips video, should I frog or should I finish? You might be familiar with this one that I'm making. I love this one. So basically I'm just creating little squares, and then I will, crochet them all together somehow and make a border. And I'm using the blue, as you saw, this gorgeous royal blue color, and also this yarn, this printed yarn, and it's just the Spot Saver. As most of you know by now that have been with us for a while, it is one of my favorite yarns. It is a 10-ply yarn, it's acrylic, and I'm using a 6mm hook with it. So this is one that I've got on the go. It's when I need a stress-free project, something that I don't want to think about, but I still want to crochet because I like to keep my hands busy, even if I'm watching TV, or if we've got company, or if I'm here with the girls on a Wednesday night where it's a little bit more chilled and relaxed. I like to pick this up. But now, as I said, we've discovered corner to corner crochet in the round. So I quickly thought, which color would I go with? Because this is a project that I'm definitely going to do, and I know it's a little bit warm at the moment, so I may not start for a month or so, maybe, we'll see. So I found 10 of these Ogos. Now I think that should make a decent sized project. So I love this colorway. It's called Salt and Pepper. I'll probably use at least a 6.5mm, more than likely a 7mm hook, but I'll do a little, swatch of each and see which one looks the best. Because I have 10 Ogos, I think the way like I operate when I, have X amount of yarn to use only and not an endless supply, when I get to about halfway of the yarn, so with this instance, in this instance, it would be 5 Ogos, just before I finish the last Ogo, so the 5th ball band or skein or Ogo, I start decreasing. So this one will be a square project because I know I have X amount of yarn and I haven't played around with a rectangle shape blanket before, so I don't want this to be the experiment. I'll wait until I have an abundance of a color so I can do it that way. So watch this space. I believe this blanket will be coming your way in our winter time, which is going to be most of your summertime because we're, down, south, down under, as most of us know. So I am very excited to start this project. It's just that it's very, very hot now, and I can't fathom the thought of having to have a huge blanket sitting on me, and this is very bulky yarn, so I will stick to making the smaller projects with all the Ogos for now. So that's pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed our little corner to corner crochet video. I thought about doing a tutorial, but there's too many out there. There's no point at this stage. Maybe one day, who knows. But I hope that those of you that haven't made any have been inspired to make some. It's endless the colors that you can put together, and the Grafgans, well, let's be real, that's a whole other world. I would like to create another one in the future I have better knowledge now how to carry the yarn at the back and, doing the color changes. But in saying that, I am very proud of this, and, I just want to thank Kitty and John's mum for lending them to me, for this video, because I really wanted to show you the real thing and not just a photo. So yeah, please let me know if you've created any corner to corner projects, which one was your favorite, or do you have a favorite tutorial or pattern? Did I miss out on any stitches that, I'm not familiar with that can create a corner to corner project? Because I would love to, look at them and, watch them and try them. That's what it's all about. Sharing is caring after all. And yeah, and if you haven't made anything before, maybe this has inspired you to do so, because let me tell you, corner to corner crochet is definitely very addictive. So have a beautiful time of deciding what you're going to create corner to corner crochet wise, and I shall see you all again in another video. Bye bye everybody.